Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news as well as a preview of their upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans will be going on the road to face the New York Giants, and I'm getting all that they need to do to get what they need to get. But first off, I just want to do a real quick recap of the last game that they played, which was against the Philadelphia Eagles over a week and a half ago. So not going to be too much, man. I know everybody's probably been beaten up with all types of analysis of sorts. So I'm gonna just give you my quick little takeaway from the game. First off, I love how they competed with the Eagles for the longest time in that game, all the way up until the fourth quarter. Just down by four going into the fourth quarter, and on the same night that the Stros were playing the Phillies. Shout out to the Stros for winning it all. But yeah, I just love that they came out and just competed with the best team in the NFL right now, and really did that in front of the home crowd. That was dope. That was something that what I'm saying we really didn't. I really didn't see from them throughout this year that much of a fight early on, but I'm glad they put it on that particular evening. Would have loved to win, but it hey, you see the record, you know what it is. So another thing, I love the style of offense that they had that they were kind of forced to go into. It was more of a physical, big body type of style, and I say that because it seemed like the tight ends became the primary receivers instead of the actual receivers. But it probably wasn't even so much that. It was just refreshing to see the tight ends get more involved in the game plan. And the Texans, they've in previous years they have used their tight ends in different aspects of the game. And so that's something that seemed to kind of be missing going into this starting the season off. But in the previous couple of weeks, it seemed like they were trying to get there, like here and there. But in this last game, it looked like they were really making an effort, and they obviously had to make an effort to do it. We were without Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins, so you had to throw the ball somewhere. Damian Pierce, he was excellent as usual, but he really can't. You really don't want to run him in the ground this early on in the season. So that's my takeaway from that. Couple of not even a couple of things, just one thing. Brandon Cook still frustrated, obviously, about not getting traded. We saw that last week when Lovie Smith benched him for personal reasons or whatever. But what I'm saying, he was still kind of hot, and we don't know what was actually said, um, behind closed doors or whatever, and he comes out. He has the cryptic tweet about uh taking someone's kindness for granted and all this other stuff. And so a lot of fans, they were criticizing him, saying like, "Hey, you can't be mad, for not getting traded, but you got all this much money on your contract and nobody wants to take you." And I'm saying that is a fair, valid, accurate point. What I'm saying? Nobody's going to want to take on so much money, especially um, in the middle of the season where usually those trades are like for rent or for hire, and then boom, you're going at the end of the season. Um, but at the same time, as a Texans fan, we've been down this road before. So all the bad stuff that's probably been said behind closed doors, i.e., this whole Jack Easterby saga, you know what I'm saying, that we just got out of. We don't know what was said behind the doors or to what extent. We can only imagine within reason. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are football players, first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to discredit their intelligence, but, they probably figured like somebody told them something that, they can make something work and all this other stuff. And it's just a mess. So for right now, we just don't need an extra mess at this time. We need to get through the rest of the season, and whatever will come out, I'm pretty sure it'll come out. Just like all these sports documentaries that came out in the last years talking about what so and so did like 30, 40 something years ago, and what I'm saying, now we're all, oh, theory is correct and all this. So if it's gonna come out, it's gonna come out, no doubt about it. So hopefully Cooks is able to suit up this Sunday and help his team out because they really, really, really need it, and especially not just this game but going forward. So, and whatever happens to him at the end of the season, good luck to him or whatever. Hope he eventually gets what he actually wants. So, with that being said, uh, what I want for the Texans is to get a W against this New York Giants team. Surprisingly, 6-2 New York Giants team. And so they got Brian Dable, former Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator in the offseason, and he's done wonders for this team as in terms of getting Daniel Jones to, really have like a standout career. like that's probably been the most spectacular thing about this team is that Jones is really ups. He's really like improved his play this year. He's got career highs, I believe, in completion percentage. He only has 2 interceptions, but the most important stat, and I lost it. Don't care what other stat I was going to look for because the most important stat um, that he really has is he has 6 wins this year. So 6-2. In his previous seasons, he's never won more than 5 games. So he already has like 6 wins for the season. So he's well on his way to doing something right. You know what I'm saying? And so the Giants, they look like a real. They look like a real. I was not gonna say title contender, obviously, but um, they look like they have a real shot at making the postseason this year, and that's crazy to say because they have, in addition to being in the same division with the Eagles, they also have the Cowboys who are playing pretty great right now. But yeah, the Giants, they're on a high right now, and you know what I'm saying, they're playing good football. So they got to come to us, and it's not us. And we're having a not so surprising season. We're still in the middle of a rebuild, and we're still really figuring things out as pieces get moved around voluntarily, or just like last week, voluntarily get moved around. So, um, the Texans, I still think that they have a. I really thought they had a shot at beating the Eagles, just based off the whole Thursday night thing that I talked about. But I think the Texans have a shot at beating the Giants, and here's a few reasons why. But actually not why, but here's what they got to do. So, um, first thing, they need to go back to last week's style of offense. I think that worked for them. Yeah, like getting a tight end is pretty much just getting the tight ends more involved in the game. Whether it's assigning them to, in certain spots to do something. So whoever's blocking the best, put that, keep having them block. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's receiving, keep having them receiving. Or if you just want to rotate that, you can rotate that as well, but make sure they're active within the game. Um, and the Giants, sorry. um, the hold on, tongue twister, my bad. Long week again. So, um, so yeah, what I was want to say, in addition to getting the tight ends involved, also kind of get the ball to them in like quick and intermediate routes. So we don't have the tight ends that are going to go, deep down the field, 30, 40 yards like that. 10 to 15 is cool, maybe even 5 to 10 yards as well. And the reason I bring that up is because the Giants lead the league in blitz percentage. So more than likely, when they're on defense, they're going to come after Davis Mills um, as much as they can with blitzes. Now, how they dress those blitzes up is up to them because they have defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, who used to be the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, and he's kind of known for like what I'm saying, just coming up with all these like exotic blitzes and just coming every which way to attack the quarterback or running back or whoever. So definitely you want to get some quick throws in there and just kind of recognize like who's you know what I'm saying recognize who's coming. And what I'm saying, once you kind of recognize that, then just what I'm saying, be like, hey, this what I'm saying, this is kind of the route I'm gonna go to. Cause once the receiver gets behind that guy, then what I'm saying, this off to the races. So you do enough of those quick routes, whether to the tight end or quick routes to the receivers. Um, you know what I'm saying? They'll back up, and they'll be like, hey, we got to kind of stop this and slow this down. So definitely go to last week's style of play for offense and try to get those quick routes implemented into that style as well. Number two, make Saquon the defense's main objective. So this goes without saying, pretty much. So not only, obviously, Saquon Barkley is the leading rusher for the New York Giants, but little tidbit, he's also their leading receiver with 28 catches on the season, and I think he's second in receiving yards as well. So in other words, they're going to get Saquon Barkley the ball, and that should be your main focus on trying to not get him the ball. They have some okay receivers, but their receiver group is not anything to just really write home about, and so it's going to be interesting to see like how much they actually go to these guys. I think what is that? I always get them confused with yeah, I think it's sorry, this is a commercial break with no advertisers. I had to look up the name. My bad. Yes, Slayton, Darius Slayton. So I had to look it up because I get them confused. With the other guy, I think Darius Slay or something, from the Eagles. So yeah, they got Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard is still there. But I think he's been in and out of the lineup for injuries. Richie James, they just got rid of Kadarius Toney, sent him to the Chiefs. So they got people whose names you probably recognize, but as far as like when it comes to producing, what I'm saying, it's not really there. You know what I'm saying, they don't really have like numbers to just blow your mind or just blow you out the water. So um, it's going to be interesting to see how much Daniel Jones actually trusts those receivers against the young Texan secondary, mind you. So obviously there's Jalen Petrie, there's Derek Stingley, we got Desmond King, Steven Nelson, Jonathan Owens. You know what I'm saying? It's a young group, but they're also a tough group as well. Believe they're like top 10 in like touchdowns allowed. Yeah, touchdown passes allowed. The secondary is our pass defense is. So um, definitely it's going to be, yeah, definitely the focus should be just stopping Saquon. And we can handle the receiving part. It's the rushing part that's going to be a little bit concerning, but you still got to step up and do it. But with that being said, we have to be the better pass defense. So, excuse me. Despite improvement from uh, the quarterback position for the Giants, um, the passing game is still like kind of near the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It's not that great. You know what I'm saying? Their money is in, running the football and just playing great defense. That's where their wins are coming in at. Daniel Jones, he'll make some, clutch plays here and there, but for the most part, um, he's not the sole or primary reason that they're winning. He's a factor for sure. Just because what I'm saying, he's playing better than his previous years, but he's not the sole reason they're winning. Also, Daniel Jones hasn't thrown for more than 300 yards in the game this season. Now, I haven't looked around the league to see if regular starting quarterback has not thrown for 300 yards in a game. But I would assume in this day and age, the way the rules are tilted towards the offense and quarterbacks, that would be an anomaly. So, uh, um, hopefully, it's not against us that he does this. But yeah, I think that as much as he's improved, there's still some limitations on his game. Part of those limitations also is the receivers that he's working with. You know what I'm saying? Um, up. They might not be that great, but they've also been dealing with like different injuries in that lineup. So I think the Texans just have to be the better pass defense, the better secondary unit, and what I'm saying, just really kind of shut them down on that aspect. Just kind of take away, just kind of just dominate the passing game of the Giants. And, that might mean that, they go to Saquon more for running, but hey, it's football. You got to step up. People are going to do what they got to do to win. So it is what it is. But just to recap over what the Texans got to do, man. Just go back to last week's style of offense. Get the tight ends involved. Use quick routes to beat the blitzes. Make Saquon Barkley the defense's main focus. So stop him as a runner, obviously, but also take away his chances to be a receiver. And just beat a better pass defense. We have a young secondary, but these guys have really stepped up this season. The rookies and the vets, they really stepped up and just kind of, you know, kind of just shock teams a little bit. Just how they're able to get things accomplished at their age. So Texans do those things, man. They should be able to come away with a win. This their second win of this season, and hopefully shock the world. Hopefully we hear that all day. Texans shock the world and beat the 6-2 Giants. So, man, it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.